Thank you very much for all of you to be here this morning today. I don't know about you, but I'm barely awake at this time of the day. And I've been many times at your side of Creative Mornings, and I was admiring multitasking people, tweeting and commenting, and many things going on between virtual and real world. As a designer, I'm really there to make things simple. So what I did last night, I have tweeted all my talks via Twitter. It's already started, so you can just relax. Read the tweets and retweet if you want to. So my name is Antonio Scarponi. I'm running an office called Conceptual Devices here in this building. Luckily, I don't have this beautiful view that you can see here. And Conceptual Devices is a laboratoire for design and experimental architecture. And for me, I have to apologize, but for me, there is only one magic happening within art and technology. And this magic, I call it design. I think we living in a world where it needs to be reinvented from scratch. I oftentimes in this kind of public talks, I express the cultural need of refound the data movement. If we live in a world, we need to reinvent it from the beginning. I think we live in a time much similar to the time in 1916. It's a big crisis. It's not an economical crisis. It's a world crisis. It's a cultural crisis. What I'm trying to do as a designer, I also very much feel part of this crisis. I try to reposition my design practice towards new directions, because I really think design practice, as well as many other practices, need to be reinvented, redesigned. You know, we are designers, so we are in charge of it. So today I will introduce you a few ideas, and I'm working on some projects, some attempts in this direction. I'm saying attempts because if you are a designer, nobody tells you what to do. You have to figure out every day. You're continuously forced to face your values and your beliefs. There is no way of doing it. You know, it's not. You have to invent it yourself. This is a normal existential status of a designer. You need to figure it out. Nobody knows, right? So, but what is design? This world it's really ambiguous. Many people have a completely different understanding of it. For some people, design is about a style, a form, a shape, in some ways. I think this is a way too little cage to trap this very problematic word, very complex. So I oftentimes been writing about this stuff, but now I've been through a PhD and things like this. I'm completely bored of writing long text, because in the end, all my friends, my parents read what I do, so I don't dare to torture them anymore. So instead now, I don't write more than one page, also because I'm a terrible writer. So instead I write manifestos. As Paolo Antonelli, senior curator of the MoMA Museum of Modern Art in New York, pointed out recently, manifesto in Italian is poster. And I want to do manifesto that looks like t-shirt. T-shirts in Italian is maglietta. What is design? For me, I wrote this manifesto, which I called Conceptual Devices Triangular Manifesto, that goes this way. Design should not be based on formal principle, but always on an idea of society. Design represents possible social orders and a lot of their contradictions. Design is everything. Anything could be designed. Everyone is a designer. Design allows social innovation. Often it is not made by designers. Design is not an innocent practice. Designers are wicked. Design has no scale. It could be small and have a great impact. Design is an interdisciplinary applied science. Design produces visual consciousness. Design is a triangular manifesto. Design makes you smile. This is the top, design. So, what I really do think is that design, in a way, it's an idea of society. It doesn't solve all the problems of the world, but it can establish a narrative. So we could say this is a manifesto about design, a manifesto about the narrative and design, how design can actually tell a story. So looking upon design as a tangible fragment of a perfect world. In this way, design it's force you to face your values, whether it's nostalgia, whether it's the idea of the future, whether it's a style, but you always have to face this fact. But what I'm interested in design is that design can turn an object into a device. So it's not a naive practice. This is why I think it employs an idea of the world. But also, it cannot solve the problem of the world itself alone. But it can tell a narrative. This is what we're talking about here. This is what I call the conceptual device. So, when I normally speak about my work and I introduce my practice, I normally start here. This is a map of internet users in 2001. It's part of my master thesis in urban design, believe it or not. 10 years ago, these were the gap between people connected and people not connected to the internet. Each country is proportionally scaled to the population connected. 1 pixel equal to 1,000 people. And of course, you can see, you know most of the country, European country. This is Africa over here. And then you have Japan, and you have Australia. What is interesting is that I wanted to show we live in a world where we are all able to talk to each other in real time, technically. We have the internet, we have Facebook, social network. We're all technically connected, but there is a gap of people, an access gap. We don't live in a world where we only have physical boundaries, but we also have access boundaries. And not only to the internet, but also safe water, food, public health, and so on, education, and so on. So with this project, I've started to develop an atlas where political and cultural information are displayed on population basis. I don't really care about how big is a democratic country, how big is a country where the homosexuality is persecuted, or how big is a country where the death penalty is enforced. I do mind how many people lives in it. So we are living in a world where we need to shift paradigm, to look upon the world from the point of view of people. This is what we're really talking about. We are all able to talk to each other in real time. We're all surfing the net almost, and we know what we're doing with each other in real time. And we are also able to collaborate. So this is an ongoing project that shows political and cultural information on population basis. This is the amount of female head of state in 2007. The amount of people represented by female head of state. What is interesting that this doesn't represent the democratic countries, of course. So what is interesting is to show how actually insignificant minority of the world population is actually represented by female head of state. I could go on with different maps. I don't think it would take too long for today. But what I want to show this is because in our time, there is bad news and a good news. The bad news is that we live in a world with 7 million people, meaning food, lack of resources. How are we going to face this? This is incredibly like an enormous challenge. Only in the last 30 years, the world population doubled. 30 years ago, the world population was 3 billion. Now it's 7, in no time. What it is for the history of the world 30 years? Nothing. Nothing. It's the time of a kid to become an adult nowadays. But the good news is that all these 7 billion people could now talk to each other and collaborate and share knowledge. And this intersection for me is a design challenge. So, with the idea that being non-political is a strong political statement, design is for me a purposeful form of activism. As a designer, I like to design things that anyone could make. This is a project of, it's called Italian Fumo. Italian Fumo in Italian means Italy is burning out. It's a project for the divulgation and the promotion of the Italian Constitution. The Italian Constitution is one of the most beautiful constitutions ever written. It was written by the Jesuits after the war, and it's simply beautiful, clear statement. If you read it, nobody knows it, of course. It looks like a subversive manifesto if you compare it to the real country. So this is why Italy is burning out, because it says that Italy neglects the wars as a tool of resolution of international controversy, that the female worker has the same right and stipendium of the male worker. I mean, that all the religions are in front of the law, and the state and the church are independent. Which is really, I mean, if you look at it, it makes you laugh even. So the idea was to frame the article of the Italian Constitution in the non-smoking policy of the European Community, and instead of saying smoke kills, the point was Constitution kills. It was just a way to engage people and make them stand for their values, a value that represent a country. So this was a DUI release. They could cover the original death message on the cigarette pockets, also because Italians smokes a lot. This was also dealing with it. And the idea was also to produce T-shirts and other items that people could do themselves. My point was that people are the witness of the Italian Constitution, and the idea was that they could be the promoter of it. So they can just wear a T-shirt and stand for it, and tell people and inform people what the Constitution is really about. So, in our world, good design can turn the world population into a bigger creative industry ever known, into a crowd factory. Nowadays, everyone is a designer, everyone is a producer. I wanted to show you this project, which is a DUI diary that allows you to make a year start whenever you want. So I'm really against with the violence, the symbolic violence of having a year starting the 1st of January. You know, what if I wanted to start somewhere else? What if I have different projects running and I want to keep different calendars for them? So this is a DUI. It allows and empowers sustainable behavior because it's designed to use the back of A4 paper. You know, the one that you don't. So you print on the back, you fold it, and you can adjust it into a standard bunch holder system. And you can just simply make your own diary. You can download it from our website. The originally was produced by an Italian company, design company. It's still actually in commerce. Every year I used to make a new calendar PDF release. Now I just made a calendar that you just have to finish up yourself. So this is a way, again, to promote. This is a device that allows and empower an ecological behavior. So, for me, the ultimate object of design is information. As a designer, I display quantities, dimension, I organize briefs, I explain procedures, I explore and represent ultimately different kinds of physical orders and their symbolic implications. This project is called Just Undo It, and it's the story is quite funny. I was doing a project with Wired magazine, and they were struggling with the idea of why Wired magazine should be printed on paper. And they called me, and we started develop a project, and I made a proposal which was called Wired Unplugged: How to Destroy Wired magazine and Build Something with it. So the idea was to destroy the magazine and build like an everyday object. This, in my opinion, would allow spread the marketing of the people who pay and sustain the magazine and to spread it into different environments. So after this, I got another phone call from another magazine from the same Condé Nast publisher. And they called me and they said, look, we have this project from, we have this hoodie from Nike. They pretend it cost $400. We have no clue because it looks like just a regular hoodie. But apparently, it's made in Japan. They only produce 8 a day, so it's something very, and we have no idea how to communicate this. So maybe you can pass by, pick it up, and if you have a proposal, we can talk about it. So Just Do It is a project of how to transform a hoodie in 5 different objects reversibly. So you don't have to hack it, you just have to fold it in a special way. And you can create a backpack, with here are the instructions. You can create a strap bag, or you can create a computer sleeve. So the idea is that we don't need a new object. We don't need a new thing. We just need to know what to do what we already have. So again, we need information to face what we already have and turn it into something else. Good design should turn things into something different without too many transformations, so to speak. It should be designed from the beginning, not only to be recycled, but to be reused. So anyone can be the manufacturer of the products I design. My job is to inform them how to do it. This is why, for me, information is the ultimate object of design. This is a project that I'm starting to produce in myself, together with my cousin. She's a upholstery maker, and we both have a daughter that are more or less the same age. So when these two ladies met the first time last summer, she had a huge beanbag that she made for herself, where all the family jumps in, dogs, and they spend times outside. This is made of a special cloth, which is waterproof and oil-proof. And so to see the interaction of these two little ladies, it came out this idea of design a chair to read fairy tales, a fairy tale beanbag. The shape is the shape of an elephant. These are the sketches that tell us the story of the project as a form of a story, or children's stories. And then we established a little company now, and we're producing this beanbag. And new other animals are coming along to make company to Tanto. Tanto in Italian is called, it means a lot, because it's huge. I mean, if you stretch it, it goes from here to there. And we are also producing a Tantino, which is a smaller version of Tanto for people who are having little smaller living room, so to speak. So I'm really pleased to introduce Tanto, because this is one of the crucial points I'm working on. I think that designing, promoting, producing, and distributing are practices that can be embedded today within a normal design activity, bridging the gap between conception and consumption. This is a transition that more and more turns design into a full entrepreneurial practice. Oftentimes, people speaks about the editorial book crisis, but I think books never been so alive. Everybody could make a book. Everybody's a publisher today. Everybody's a journalist. Recently, I saw online a talk by Bruce Springsteen, and he was talking about the Beatles. And he said something very interesting for me. He said the Beatles made a huge innovation because they were a kid like us. They got out to the garage and they just did the record. Before, there was the guy who read the song, the guy who was writing the lyrics, the guy who was playing it, the producer, and in the end, the one who playing and do the records. The Beatles shrink all these processes and came out from the garage to the record store, out to the concerts. And this is what is happening to us also, as a designer, as a writers, as authors. You don't need to go through the whole industry. You just do it. Ask your friend. And be as professional as you can, do your best. And there is a chance that you can actually skip all these processes. Redick is a project of an interior designs for an exhibition at Cabaret Voltaire. 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. And the whole project is designed with 2 IKEA boxes. The idea is that the boxes are are assembled in an undoable way, so that you can take them apart without damaging them. Because the idea was that we could afterwards take them back to IKEA, and according to the service policy, so you can use the pieces and take them back. And of course, the exhibition was called "Revolution to Smash Global Capitalism." And my provocation was that you need capitalism to smash global capitalism. So this is the way of hacking it. And with these two boxes, we designed different items which were composing the exhibition. There's a bookshelf with instruction how to assemble them. And here you have a different system with a lamp. And each of these names have like a meaningful name. For this, and this is called Angela, Sarko, and Silvio. You tell them which one is the biggest. This also have a table, which also could be turned into a kitchen, and a bed with a side lamp, and a stool, which is called Zuccotti. So this is also for me the ultimate goal of activism: introduce change from within, bring it at work, and make it happen within the system. Make sure to earn a living with it. Design claim a role within today's society. Activism, from my point of view, becomes a profession. So this is a project of a greenhouse, a rooftop farm that produces fish and food for 4 families of 4. It's basically a system design that could be installed on top of any flat roof and using an aquaponics system. The idea of aquaponics system is that fish and vegetables are living in a closed loop, so that the fish nourish the plants and the plants clean the water. And it's a project. This is Athens, of course, because this is where everything starts and maybe where everything will end. So we need to start all over from there. This is the system, how the water circulation works, and what kind of fish and what kind of vegetable you can grow in different seasons. Here the feature how you can implement them according to the regulation of the requirements you want to keep inside. And of course, everything is designed that can be shipped in a container, so it's optimized for shipping and for easy assemblation. The idea of this, again, is to make an instruction manual, so that sort of like half to UI, and so you can assemble it in a simple way. It is the whole strategy, so from the roof to the shipping container. Many greetings from the roof. One idea is also that they can also give value to rooftops that sometimes are neglected space of the city. So design is something good that anyone could make at home. Anyone could be the producer of the things they do. This is Maltose. Maltose is a smaller concept of the one you've seen before. It's designed to produce 1 meal a day. It's like a conceptual exercise, how much food you can grow into a home. So, a bathtub, 400 liters, 2 kilos of fish. The question is how much salad and vegetables 2 kilos of fish can grow, how much salad can grow. So all this information came out the size of 2 refrigerators. And here you have some different drawings. Again, another manual, another instruction, things that you can supply yourself in DIY shops. And this is a crucial point. If design is a recipe, designers are chefs, and all I do are recipe books. So in this sense, I want to introduce you to Zoroaster, which is that guy over there. This is something that the next project that will come out soon. And it's a project about a book that will be soon released, and about how to go to IKEA and grow salad and build a furniture that grows salad into your apartment. In other words, it's an instruction manual of a furniture, IKEA furniture that doesn't exist. So again, the Trophy boxes, this is the system. And here what you need, it's rather easy to assemble. And so I'm producing a book with all the instructions how you can simply grow salad. There is a prototype over there, so if you want to take a look afterwards. These are the tools you need. Here's the procedures. What I'm interested in is the storytelling about it. It's not just the object itself, but it's empowering you actually that you can do it. establishing a narrative. So let's example what we have been speaking so far. Good design is a tangible fragment of a perfect world. Tangible fragment. This world, the world of force is not perfect. As a designer, I like to design things that anyone can make. A good design can turn the world population into the biggest creative industry ever known. Proud factory. If designers are recipe, designers are chefs. I'm interested in making recipe books about something good and anyone can bake at home. Yes, I've got another manifesto here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure it's true, but I think it's yeah. I really think this is something, a point that I tell students most of the times. You know, of course, when you communicate with crowds, you need to inspire and to motivate people, so you can come out with a big statement. But I really think that we shouldn't take ourselves too seriously and believe that we change the world. We cannot alone. I mean, it is a much bigger progress, but we could tell a story. You know, build a little fragment and show how things could be different. This would not change the world itself, but you can prove with a little tiny fragment that something is possible, that is doable. So with this fragment, you can build your own world, like an imaginary world. This is why I used to say that design is a form of imaginary revolution, because you can imagine a society in a different way. Thank you, we're not interested. The story was that, in fact, I don't quote them because there was a deal. I make a proposal. I had 2 interns. They actually did the video. They did quite a good work. So there was a deal. It was like a proposal. They asked me to write a post, but I cannot write. I didn't need to do it. So this it is. If you like it, take it. Otherwise, I do something else with it. Afterwards, Wired magazine called me again and they said, "Do you have one of your how-to crazy things that you would like to publish?" And I sent them a long list of ready projects. And they said, "Oh, we'd like to have this one." So it was in the end published with Wired Italy, Wired magazine. And what the interesting story was that I never got feedback from a printed magazine. So you know, one of the most important geek magazine, you know, you can imagine, Wired. I never get the feedbacks from, you know, phone call, an email. "Oh, I saw your work, you know, nice stuff." But what I did, I published my public release, like normally when I release projects, and Tina, a Swiss Miss, republished after 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. I don't know how she manages. And after that, you know, the whole world collapsed on that website. And it's like one-person business. It's way too influential than a huge, you know, professional, top quality, top whatever you can imagine, famous geek magazine. And this is something for me extremely fascinating. This is why I'm saying the world is collapsing on you. You know, you are a producer, you are a designer, you are marketing sales, you are a PR agency, you are everything. This is, of course, a challenge. It's a problem also because you don't have all the skills. You have to be unprofessional in many respects, but in the end, it's you. In the end, it's what you are, what you believe, and you have to stand for it. This is a great opportunity, I think. Which was not able 5 years ago, I think. Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not an expert in that field. I can tell you why my project is successful or not. Maybe I might have the truth in mind, but I don't think I'm not really in control of that. I think there are many factors that might spoil the process. What I do say though is that work with multinationals, with big companies, is that it's very difficult to them to take decisions, to move, to make innovation. So this is what might happen to a project that wouldn't get too big, because it reaches a successful stage, but then it gets frozen because it's too big. This might be one of the hypotheses. For me, work with many. Some as a consultant for some important multinational, I can see that for them to take a decision from A to B to move things like this, it takes ages. They are like paralyzed. So I mean, like a bunch of kids in a garage, they make way more innovation. The only chance is to buy them, to buy innovation from outsource. It's very difficult to then produce innovation.
Yeah. But then if you buy them, you typically stifle innovation, and you also say that anything that gets big becomes unmanageable. But then if you want to go back to change in Italy, you need half the population of Italy to vote out the government.
I think we should look carefully about Italy because it's an interesting country. We Italians used to look upon it as a country left behind. But since I've been working in different countries in Europe, starting from Sweden, which is the top quality of welfare state, I'm realizing that actually Italy is far ahead. It's not left behind. In the sense that the problem that Sweden will face in 30 years is already facing Italy now, in terms of aging of the population, in terms of the intrinsic problem generated with the crisis of the welfare state. You know, how do we pay pension to a majority of people? Most of them are elderlies. So they ask, you know, how do they do it? How do you do it? You know, we're going to face this in 30 years, and we have no idea how we're going to cope with this. And of course, Italy it's an interesting country also because it's a poor country with rich people. And I think there is a lot of similar pattern in all countries of Europe, and each of them has their own recipe in the way how to balance this. And I think at the moment Italy is doing its best. I think it's a good reaction. I think it's what is happening now. It's a good way of facing the crisis. At least there's an upfront state of facing it. It's an important economy. I think they're doing their best, and I hope they will succeed in this sense. I do believe that that being non-political is a strong political statement. So we cannot avoid this. But I do think that politics is not done within parties. You do politics when you go shopping at the supermarket as a citizen. You do politics the way you cross the street. You do politics in the way you deal with your neighbors. This is how you, as a citizen, you have to deal with politics. The way getting your job done right is the most political thing you can do. It's revolutionary. You know, get your job done. You do it right. This is what I really think, and this is what I'm trying to do. As a designer, I'm engaged because I try to do as best as I can in what I believe. And I think crossing the street in the zebras is a political act. Paying the taxes is a political act. I used to say to my Italian friends that the most revolutionary thing you can do in Italy is pay off your taxes. Because the system is designed for people to avoid the taxes. If you're an entrepreneur, you cannot face them. It's a way also to blackmail, because everybody is blackmailable. You know, this is my conspiracy theory. I apologize for this.
So the most revolutionary thing in Switzerland would be to vote.
Yes. Yeah, it's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. So let's all be Wilhelm Tell and vote again.
I don't have a straight answer. It's both ways. I mean, first of all, I'm a person with limited knowledge and limited skills, and so therefore it's just that I take what I can. You know, I don't develop projects that I cannot afford to deal with, or they're too expensive to develop within my office. And also because I develop projects when I can see them that they can be developed easily. You know, first of all, for me, if I'm a designer and I'm struggling to make a prototype because it's not what is paying me, I want that everyone easily could build the prototype I'm making. Right. Then I can also develop it and take it to the next stage. You know, design it in a more style way. But the core of design must be simple. It must be like, you know, screws and tape, so to speak. Then, of course, the most elegant, the better, and this design is not. What I'm interested in is in the storytelling of it, not necessarily the problem solving. But you can explain things in this way. Yes, this is very true. But in fact, the idea of the book it's a business model I'm building up now. Because in my way, I mean, all these projects I've presented today, one of my main issues is, I made something interesting and appealing and successful on the net, but how I can actually capitalize in my effort, you know. I'm not saying how do I get paid, because that's another story, but at least say capitalize. Give everything away, you get big success, bravo, bravo, and then thank you, goodbye. So my idea is that in the end, really, my product is the instruction. It's not that, but it's a book. You buy it because you get inspired, not because you want to build it. Maybe you want also to build it. But with a book, I could become a publisher, publish it myself, and build a margin out of it. So in this sense, this is why in the end my product is the information. This is why I say that it's the ultimate, because as a designer, I tell an artisan how to do it, and we negotiate and we fix, the normal practice. But what if everybody is a manufacturer? What if the world is a big manufacturer company and everyone could be, hacking? Because this is the scenario that I'm triggering. Of course, it's also provocation. Of course, a big percentage of it, but it's a possibility. It's a what if. It's a storytelling again.
Of course, you're hacking, but one has to say that Miele and many big firms are taking over this concept now in renderings. If you read a lot magazines and newsletters, you'll see this stuff here being taken over by big industry. So obviously they need new alternatives.
Yeah.